Life has a way of turning you into someone you never thought you'd be. I'm Talia, 32, and somehow I've become the person who carries everyone's weight while disappearing into the background of my own life. The chicken is overcooked again. Vivian picks at her plate, her perfectly manicured nails tapping against the dining table. In my day, women knew how to properly care for their families. I bite my tongue, like always. After a 14-hour day at Robertson Marketing, where I just landed us a 7-figure client, I had exactly 40 minutes to get dinner on the table. Mom's right, babe. Maybe you could try that cooking class she mentioned. Greg chimes in, not even looking up from his phone. Been busy landing the Peterson account, I say, pushing my food around. It'll help cover the new property taxes. Oh, always about work with you, Vivian sighs dramatically. No wonder my poor Greg has to eat takeout most nights. And look at your roots showing. When's the last time you visited a salon? Where exactly should I fit that in, Vivian? Between the 60-hour work weeks and keeping this house running? Don't take that tone with my mother. Greg finally looks up, frowning. She's just trying to help. Help. Right. Like she's been helping for the past 2 years, ever since Greg lost his job at the firm and she moved in. 2 years of temporary support while he networks and explores his options. Meanwhile, my savings account keeps shrinking. I need to check some work emails. I excuse myself, escaping to our home office. Opening my laptop, I see the credit card statement that made my stomach drop earlier today. Charges from Le Petit Bistro, $300, Nordstrom, $750. Places I haven't been, things I haven't seen. Greg, can you come here for a minute? What is it? Mom's showing me pictures of her garden club? Why is there a charge for Le Petit Bistro from last Tuesday? I was in Chicago for the conference. Oh, business lunch. Networking, you know? With jewelry from Tiffany's? My voice cracks as I pull out the crumpled receipt I found in his jacket. For someone named Melissa? His face changes, that familiar defensive anger rising. You went through my pockets? Real nice, Talia. Real trustworthy. Trustworthy? You're spending our money. Your money, you mean. You never let me forget it's your money. Because I'm the only one trying to keep us afloat, while you and your mother, here we go again, attacking my mother. She's right about you, you know. Always playing the victim, never appreciating what you have. I stare at him, the stranger wearing my husband's face. What I have? What exactly do I have, Greg? He doesn't answer, just storms out. Through the wall, I hear Vivian's concerned murmur. Poor dear. She's always been difficult. You deserve better. I look down at the receipt in my trembling hands. To Melissa. All my love. The words blur as tears fall, but I don't make a sound. I've learned to cry quietly in my own home. Something's not adding up with these numbers. Maya leans over my desk, frowning at my laptop screen. These withdrawals are way too regular to be random. 10 grand each month, like clockwork. Dylan points at the spreadsheet, into some LLC I've never heard of. My hands shake as I scroll through months of bank statements. Rising Phoenix Ventures. Greg said it was for his new business consulting firm. Girl, the only thing rising is my blood pressure looking at this. Maya shakes her head. You need professional help. That's how I end up in a coffee shop downtown, sliding an envelope across the table to Leon Martinez, PI. Classic pattern, he says, reviewing the documents. They're setting up a nest egg. Question is, for who? 2 weeks later, I get my answer in a manila envelope. Photos of Greg and a blonde entering high-end hotels, restaurant receipts, text messages, and the Kicker Incorporation papers for Rising Phoenix Ventures, listing both Greg and Melissa Chapman as partners. You're being paranoid again. Greg rolls his eyes when I ask about another suspicious charge. Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with controlling every penny. $20,000 to an interior decorator isn't controlling. It's basic questions. It's for my office space. You want me to succeed, don't you? What office space? Where? See? This is exactly why I don't tell you things. You turn everything into an interrogation. Don't gaslight her, dear. Vivian appears in the doorway. She can't help her issues. My phone buzzes. Another update from Leon. The interior decorator? She's doing Melissa's condo, the one Vivian helped pick out. Found something interesting in your mother's phone. Dylan shows me screenshots over lunch. She's been texting this Melissa for months. Listen to this. Once the business takes off, he'll finally be free of her. You'll make such a better wife. That's not even the worst part. Maya grabs my hand. They're using your market research for their business plan. The one you developed for Robertsons? My chest tightens. 3 years of work, my intellectual property stolen. Back home, I overhear them in the kitchen. The business plan is solid, Greg says. Once we secure the Henderson contract. Using her research was brilliant, Vivian replies. She's always been too career-focused to see the bigger picture. Melissa understands the importance of family. Few more months of building the client base, Greg continues. Then we can finally end this charade. Melissa's already found us a great divorce lawyer. I slide down the wall, hand pressed to my mouth. All this time, they weren't just stealing my money. They were stealing my future. Get it together, I whisper to myself, pulling out my phone. Maya, remember that employment lawyer you mentioned? I need his number. Now. These signature forgeries are clear as day. Rachel spreads the loan documents across her desk. He's looking at serious fraud charges. 3 different bank loans, all using my name without consent. I pull out more papers from my briefcase. Plus the equity line on our house. And you're sure about moving forward with this? Watch this. I play the video from last night's dinner. Greg and Vivian laughing about my cluelessness while planning to drain our accounts. The courts will love that. Keep playing dumb. Let them dig deeper. At home, I'm the perfect, unsuspecting wife. Another late meeting, honey? No problem. Good to see you finally accepting your role. Vivian smirks over her morning coffee. A wife should support her husband's ambitions. Speaking of support, Greg walks in, waving papers. Need you to sign these. Just some routine business stuff. I sign with a shaky hand, making sure my phone captures everything. Whatever you need, dear. Melissa says the Henderson deal is practically sealed, Vivian beams. Soon you won't have to work such long hours, Greg. My phone buzzes. Dylan confirming he's in position at Le Petit Bistro, 2 tables away from their usual spot. Got something exciting to tell you tonight, I say. A potential investor for your business. Greg's eyes light up exactly as planned. Later at the restaurant, Dylan pretends to be absorbed in his laptop while his phone records everything. A private equity firm? Greg leans forward eagerly. They're looking to invest 8 figures in promising startups. I mentioned your company. Finally making yourself useful. Vivian sips her wine. Though it's a bit late now. What do you mean? Might as well tell her, Greg shrugs. The divorce papers are ready. Once this investor deal goes through, we won't need to keep up appearances. You've been planning this? For months, Vivian laughs. Melissa's much better suited for the lifestyle Greg deserves. You're just too career-obsessed to be a real wife. The best part? Greg smirks. Your research made it all possible. Rising Phoenix will dominate the market using your strategies. After the divorce, you'll have nothing. Except massive debt, Vivian adds. Those loans in your name? Good luck explaining those to the bank. I force tears, playing my part perfectly. Meanwhile, Dylan's phone catches every word. Later that night, I send everything to Rachel. Got it all? Moving to phase 2? Time to show them what a career-obsessed woman can really do, she replies. Meet me tomorrow. We're filing everything. The fraud charges. The intellectual property theft. All of it. I close my laptop, hearing Greg and Vivian celebrating downstairs. They think they're so clever, never suspecting they've walked right into my trap. Let them laugh. Tomorrow they'll learn exactly who they're dealing with. Surprise! The crowd cheers as Greg walks into his mother's country club birthday celebration. His face freezes when he spots me standing next to the process server. Happy birthday, Vivian. Hope you don't mind I brought a guest. What is this? Greg stares at the papers being thrust into his hands. Divorce filing, restraining order, and criminal charges for fraud. I announce loud enough for everyone to hear. Oh, and Melissa, you might want to lawyer up too. Intellectual property theft is a serious offense. The blonde trying to hide behind Vivian turns pale. You said she didn't know. Know what? That you've been embezzling my research? Or that you're living in a condo bought with forged loan documents? You ungrateful little... Vivian steps forward, but Maya blocks her path. Security footage from the bank showing Greg forging signatures. Maya starts playing a video on her tablet. Plus some interesting recordings about your little schemes. You can't prove anything. Greg rips up the papers. Don't worry, we brought copies. Rachel emerges from the crowd. The DA's office has them too. You're all witnesses, Vivian shrieks. She's trying to ruin my son's life. Like you ruined mine? I pull out my phone. Let's hear that recording of you coaching Melissa on how to spend my money. The country club members whisper as Vivian's own voice fills the room. Use her credit cards for everything. She's too busy working to check. You think you're so smart, Greg snarls. You'll never get another job after this scandal. Actually, Dylan steps up. Robertson's just made her senior VP. Turns out, exposing corporate espionage impresses the board. 2 police officers enter the room. Gregory Walsh, we have some questions about certain loan applications. This isn't over, Vivian hisses as her son is escorted out. Actually, it is. The club board voted this morning. An elderly woman approaches. Your membership's been revoked, Vivian. We don't associate with criminals. 3 months later, I'm settling into my new office when Maya bursts in. Heard the latest? Greg took a plea deal, 3 years minimum. Melissa's company dumped her and she's moving back to Ohio. And Vivian? Living in a retirement community in Florida. Turns out she can't afford that mansion without your money. Speaking of money, Dylan joins us, waving a check. First restitution payment came through. Justice tastes sweet. Like the cake? I pull out a small box. Saved a piece from the divorce finalized party? We laugh, sharing the cake that tastes like freedom. Through my office window, I can see the city skyline where I once felt trapped. Now it looks like possibility. To new beginnings, Maya raises her coffee cup. And to karma, I think, remembering Greg's face as the handcuffs clicked shut. Sometimes justice needs a little help getting served. What would you do if you discovered your spouse and their family were not just betraying you emotionally, but systematically stealing your intellectual property and setting you up for financial ruin? Would you gather evidence quietly like Talia did, or confront them immediately? The line between patience and self-preservation can be thin. When is the right moment to stop playing along and fight back? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story of justice and redemption resonated with you, help us grow our storytelling community by hitting that like button and subscribing. Turn on notifications to catch our next compelling story that will keep you on the edge of your seat.